Welcome back to the Roundtable. I'm Vox, and with Infinity Train Book 2, in the books? Yeah, save your tomatoes. We're left with a slew of unanswered questions from both books 1 and 2, with book 2 truly completing the first season of Infinity Train, as it was initially greenlit with a 20-episode order. Let's go through 15 unanswered questions. Things that'll have you scratching your head in the shower while shampooing, keeping you up at night as you gaze the stars that are on your ceiling from projected light, of course, and leaving you hungry for knowledge until the next book rolls around, whether that be on Cartoon Network or HBO Max. Of course, spoiler warning, if you have not seen Infinity Train Books 1 and 2, I highly recommend to go check it out. It's a fantastic show. Then come back here and watch this video. With all that said, let's dive in. Starting with number 1 is the question that I really formed in the episode The Wasteland. Where is the Infinity Train? The whimsical yet horrifying train is located in a desolate wasteland, surrounded by dirt, rocks, and gooms. But at the very least, the train won't allow its denizens, unknown if passengers are affected, from traversing the wasteland beyond a certain point, as Lake, aka Mirror Tulip, was pulled back from the force of the train while attempting to flee. However, Lake was able to eventually get off the train, so what if it's not a barrier for just its denizens, but something that affects all passengers on the train? If so, why is the train preventing people from going beyond a certain point? Is it located in another dimension, planet, universe, or somewhere on Earth? There's much we don't know about the train, but after this moment, it seems that they want us to speculate on its location, and if it's actually not as distant as one may think. Question number 2. Who created the train and its technology? One might be the conductor, overseeing all the operations of the train, but being a leader does not equate to being the origin. Somebody created one, the memory lice robots, the pods that carry passengers. And they definitely have a common motif, as all the aforementioned look alike, just varying in proportion and build. When One was on a mission for his mother, it was implied a creator would be involved, but One's mom just ended up being the train's engine. But I would love to eventually get an answer on who made the train. Were they human? Were they alien? Are they some godly deity who for some reason decided to dabble in sci-fi?
What does God need with a starship?
And beyond that is number 3. How does the train choose its passenger? After all, there are billions of people on this planet. And we know from previous tweet of the creator, Owen Dennis, that the series takes place in modern time, Tulip leaving for the train in November of 2019. So you're telling me out of a very large sum of people in the entire world, the train manages to scoop up everybody with a problem? While I'm sure passengers are probably picked up on the train simultaneously, would it really have time to get to everybody? Now recently there was another Infinity Train Ask Me Anything on Reddit. Someone did ask, how does the train choose passengers? And there was an answer provided. The train appears to people who are at a crossroads in their life. Now, if anything, I take this as the criteria to get on the train, and purposely left vague as to who is the particular person that's going to roam the train today, but at least there's a semblance of an answer on where this starts. Number 4. Are there going to be 2 new Fleck cops? Both Flecks from the Chrome car, Mace and Sieve, are now in the Great Chrome Sky because they were both brutally murdered. Now, the reason these 2 became Flecks in the first place was because their prime passed on. And in the mirror world, after such a thing happens, becoming a Fleck is the honorable course of action, aka there's more of them out there. So will we see the replacements in a future book? Will they be grittier and even more on edge? Because now they know for sure that they're susceptible to death. That if the wrong passenger and denizen come along, they can get completely bodied? Are they going to be equipped with heavier artillery? Or will the series move away from the Flecks and introduce an alternate presence of law enforcement in the series? It wouldn't make sense for the Flecks to have a bigger story going forward anyways. The only reason they got the role they had now was because the main character was from the Chrome car. They have absolutely zero reason to hunt down a human. Maybe there could be a bounty on Alan Dracula's head, but Infinity Train already excels at excellent continuity and paying things off, following up on plot points with background details. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new Fleck at a later point in time. But speaking of murder, number 5. What is Alan Dracula? I'm actually really shocked that book 2 did not give us an answer on who this deer is, what this deer is. Is Alan Dracula a glitch, a virus in the train, or is he more of a tool? After all, throughout all of book 2, all of his abilities serve to help Jessie and MT. Now that they're off the train, we don't really know what's next for Alan Dracula. Last we saw of him, he began to fly back, assumably to the train he was founded in the first place. While I'm content with reading between the lines and theorizing who this year could be for the rest of time, I do hope we eventually get a resolution on this dangling plot thread. Now, when Alan Dracula did return to his prepper car, one stated he really broke the mold with him, implying that Alan Dracula's creation was intentional. And considering Alan Dracula helped Lake and Jessie along the way, he definitely may just be made for companionship and helping others. It's kind of like when you get the best power-up imaginable in Mario Kart. If you're lucky, you're really lucky. Number 6. Where is Amelia? The now former conductor was last seen at the end of book 1, at a brand new crossroad in her life. Will she continue to be in denial and try to bring Ulrich back to life? Or will she move on, set a new path, and begin to gradually bring her number down, potentially getting off the train? Now Amelia has an entire cult that worships her, and I imagine there could be some pretty fun interactions there. So regardless of what her next move is, I hope she once again becomes a prominent character in the future. If there's any show to mix and match old characters, bring back characters in an even bigger role, it's certainly going to be Infinity Train. We already have a dose of that with Flake/MT, but I would love to get to the point where a prominent cast of a book is a mix of new characters and 1 or 2 older characters who used to be prominent and now they're back for an even bigger role, and then side characters from previous trains, now back to be surprisingly fleshed out. There's definitely a lot they can do there. And that takes me to number 7. How does the cat know so much? The cat is by far the most interesting character in Infinity Train. A talking cat just fits into the weirdness of the car, but the real allure comes into how much the cat knows. How did she get to the point where she was in cahoots with Amelia? Why does she have so many passenger tapes? How did she know enough about the Chrome car to recognize Mirror Tulip as well, a living reflection? At this point, we know she's not much of an antagonist. She definitely has her own MO at times, but as she said to Tulip, she always does the right thing in her own way. But is she just a denizen of the train? Or does her origin go deeper? Does she begin as a passenger or someone who worked alongside the creator? Is she the actual creator of the train, who ended up in a cat-like state? But if that was the case, why would she let Amelia overthrow the train in the first place? I guess that wouldn't add up, but you guys get the idea. There's so many routes they could take her character, and I hope she has a much more prominent role in a future book, because 1 episode in book 2 just wasn't enough. I know there's still plenty of questions, but first, big thanks to today's sponsor, NordVPN. While surfing the internet, privacy should be the top priority. Anyone can take your data within the blink of an eye, and who knows what they do with it. All it takes is 1 click for some stranger you don't even know to keep track of your every move. That's terrifying. That's why we have VPNs. A VPN is the easiest way to protect yourself from these breaches and security. And NordVPN offers a wide variety of different locations for you to pop on over and cause your IP address to be hidden from any devious thieves out there who want it. I love to travel, and now at the very least my IP address can take me anywhere in seconds. If you head over to nordvpn.org/theroundtable and use the code TheRoundtable at checkout, you can get a 70% discount on a 3-year plan with 1 month free. I know, that's too good to pass up. This doesn't just apply to you surfing on the computer as well. NordVPN works for your browser, phone, or pretty much any device that has an app store. Again, that's nordvpn.org/theroundtable and using the code TheRoundtable at checkout. Number 8. What is the Apex's grand plan? The Apex excited me most out of everything in book 2, just because the concept of them makes them such a great Team Rocket-esque force that could be a menace in almost every book of Infinity Train until they reach their end. Led by Grace and Simon, the Apex believed that 1-1 regaining the control of the Infinity Train was a sham, that they aren't meant to get off the Infinity Train, that they are meant to have insanely high numbers, and that the train is meant for them to do whatever they want. But what is their aim in all of this? Are they just chaotic, or is there more than meets the eye? Do they plan to do something with the train? Do they have any sinister motives we're not aware of? I absolutely hope they get fleshed out. I would even love some compelling philosophy on what they do, why they do the things they do. Because right now, it's just very surface level, oh, you got it all wrong. But are characters who think they're doing right by being horrible people? Something's gotta give, and there has to be a silver lining. And building off that is number 9. Why are Grace and Simon on the train? How long have they been on the train? How did their numbers get so high? To end up in their current mindset is already troubling, but we have to recognize, going off their cameos in the engine, that Grace and Simon already had these insanely high numbers before 1-1 regained control of the Infinity Train, so likely before the formation of the Apex, at least in its current state and mindset. For lack of better words, they were already pretty f***ed up. They ended up on this train for a reason, and they came together for a reason. Now, we already know they have been on the train for quite some time, as inferred by their dialogue, but just exactly how long? How old are they? Are they high schoolers? College students? I just sense some very dark storytelling within these two, why their numbers are so high, and with how brutal the series has been so far, I hope they pull absolutely zero punches. But on that note of being on the train for a very long time, number 10 is something that could just be answered in a singular episode, and that I hope they do tackle. Who is the oldest passenger on the train? Someone who's been on the train for a very long time, has grown on the train, and in terms of age, has everyone beat. We've seen people of all ages on the train, little kids, teenagers, and full-blown adults. But there's so many directions they can take the oldest member of the train. Have they somehow achieved immortality, living way longer than they should, maybe resisting getting off the train as a result because they know if they get off, they may finally kick the bucket for whatever reason? Or are they more of a wise guru or shaman, dishing out wisdom about the train, pretty much being like the Red Skull of this universe? I know this one was a bit more random, but I seriously can't stop thinking about it, and I hope they have fun with the answer. Speaking of passengers, what happened to the man who had his pod stolen by Lake? Desperate to get her ticket off, Lake was definitely wilding out by the end there, and between destroying robots and finding loopholes, the most troubling thing Lake did in her fight to get off the train was completely jacking some man's pod and throwing him off. Not even leaving him inside a train car, but on top of a train car, leaving him vulnerable in the Wasteland. What if a goon flies on over? He's losing his soul. I would love if in a future book, this guy ends up evolving into some sort of lone wandering warrior. I was abandoned outside the train, and now I wander. But Lake threw him off before he could even get a number. This man is perpetually stuck. If that's not revisited, that is, in my humble opinion, the biggest missed opportunity. But like, they definitely had to follow up with this guy, right? Speaking of random passengers, number 12, Jessie's lunch lady. We saw her in the first episode of book 2, and later it was confirmed that Jessie's lunch lady story was referring to this character that we saw. A student and a lunch lady went missing from the same area around the same time. Again, how does the train decide who to pick up? But I hope we do get to know what this lunch lady's deal was, why she made Jessie eat so much celery, and by proxy get justice for one of the writers having to deal with that exact same thing. It's a true story. Shout out to Alexander Horab. Number 13, is every non-human inhabitant a null made from an orb? We found out at the end of book 1 that Atticus's life form does stem from an orb. Assumably, a lot of denizens do, but does every denizen stem from an orb? Again, this is where characters like the cat really come into play. Are there any human denizens that aren't passengers? Small detail, but definitely one that could lead to bigger things. Number 14, what else can leave the train? MT or Lake got off. She's in the real world now. So who else can follow suit? Obviously, Lake was an exception because she was able to reflect Jessie's number, but in other loophole situations, could someone like Atticus get off? How about Randall? Are they bound to their orbs? If they make it out into the real world and someone removes the orb in the train, what happens? I hope the worlds of Infinity Train and the real world don't collide too fast, which could occur if more and more Jessies and Lakes happen, so maybe the answer will come sooner than later. And last but not least, number 15, Lake's life outside the train. Now that Lake is in the real world, where can she go from here? Will she live a normal life? Will she rust in the rain? Is she like gonna date Jessie? Where is she going to live? Everything's so insane with that. I'm sure a lot of fan fictions and AUs will come out of it, but hey, drop in the comments below what you think could happen with Lake. Actually, with all of these questions, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We want to know what you guys think. And now that I guess we're in the outro, you can also tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids. And for my own thoughts, you can find me at OstricVox. We're also on Instagram. Help the Roundtable grow by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us over at Patreon. Link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. OstricVox, signing out.